This is what you've all been waiting for, people. Some nice TF2 action in RGL Season 9 Intermediate. Brought to you by Fireside Cast. I'm your host, Jay. Antlers on production, obviously. You know, it's the usual tag team duo. Dirtman, welcome aboard the Fireside Cast for the first time in what feels like forever, honestly.
It has been a while. Well, thank you for having me, and I hope tonight is going to be a good match as always. It seems like we do have some pretty good teams going up against each other, going head to head, and one team that I actually had a little bit of experience casting with in the past.
Yeah, would you want to go ahead and tell me a little bit about that team, honestly?
Okay, so way back in season 4, it was a long time ago, there was a team called Minus Rep in Newcomer. They ended up getting second place, and of course, this was TC Mano's team. The players of the current roster, anyway, that I recognize from that team are Omar XB, Ender the Frog, their medic. Lechuga, I'm not sure if is playing tonight, but is on the roster. And then, of course, TC Mano as well. Again, doesn't look like they're playing tonight, but on the roster as well. A lot of these players obviously have been playing together since season 4, so there should be a lot of synergy there. And even on the other team, I recognize some of the names as well. I've played against them, played with them. So this should be a good night.
Well, I have basically no familiarity with these players, but you know, tonight, guys, we have Engineer versus OffTask, and we do have a special segment for you guys. But first off, I want to read some quotes from the teams. I've reached out to both team leaders for quotes. On the side of OffTask, I have Omar MXB. I asked him for a quote. He told me, "I'm about to give these malnourished players some vitamins." Also, it's Omar. I also asked Jellydot and Kay from Engineer for their quotes. Jellydot wants to give a shout out to the stream and also says, "Our Med High DM." Kay, on the other hand, it's Omar. But never mind that. Never mind that. I know what we're all here for. We're here for the juicy spice of the stream, the juicy talk. On one hand, we have one representative from Engineer representing us for this pre-game trash talk segment. You know, it's about to go down. Lunches will be thrown. Faces will be scratched. Who knows what's going to go on right now? But cayorne,
Yo,
would
what's
you
up?
be so kind to talk for us?
You know, it's me, cayorne. In the streets, they call me Third Leg Craig. And I got something to say about these bums on OffTask. First of all, it is not 2004. I promise, man, your RGL team name, there could be a space there, okay? And speaking of names, you guys got some fucking stinkers, bro. Ender the Frog, Happy Catfish, Brandon underscore 411. Is this fucking Hypixel? Holy shit, man. No wonder you guys lost to fucking Jack X Permaputus, man. You got no power. And then you got the other two fucking bozos, Omar, you fucking loser. Sorry, I didn't mean that. That's a bit rude. Fucking
No,
man,
let it all out. This is unfiltered here.
Loot, and what the fuck's the other guy's name? Grape, all caps. Holy fuck! If that doesn't scream, I'm 4-3 and I am 6s. I have no idea what does. Holy shit. You know, in fairness, you guys are the underdogs, all right, with the worst record, even though the forfeit week 1, you know. I mean, it's hard to win games. You know, it's really hard. But, come on, boys. Let's be real here. No chance.
Whoa, 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 whoa. That was some 100% unfiltered, no, all pulp talk we got right there.
Straight
Jazz,
grilled
we have
over
Jazz. We have Jazz from OffTask, you know. You can't just let him off easily right there. Isn't that so, Jazz?
That is so. I'm looking at the team. What is this engineer? Like this isn't. Is this the fucking engineer gaming meme? By the way, like, come on, man. That's some RTF2 type of shit. This is the big boy leagues now, and you know, kind of piggybacking off of what's his face was saying over there. Looking at the players on engineer, it's just like who do we got? Jelly on flank scout. I've seen Jelly scout. I've seen Jelly's demo. Jelly's demo is very good, but his scout, maybe not so much. Firebird Junior, he's gonna be flying around because he's being hit by rockets and shit. I don't know. And I mean, I've seen these players, I've played with these players, I've mentored these players, and it doesn't seem like they've gotten any better because they're still kicking around in IM. So I don't know. Maybe it's just my off-task bias, but I think engineer is going to be taken down like the dispensers, like the sentries, just systematically, pop, just like that. It's going to be a cakewalk, a slam dunk, a field goal for off task tonight because they're going to be on task, and that task is winning.
Hit some nursery rhymes
tried.
right there.
That sucked, man.
You tried. You get points A for effort, right?
I'm like half asleep right now.
Dude, what the fuck, man?
What can I? Well, I don't know, man.
I felt like Gunna in that fucking music video where he's like writing on the paper and it's on fire. That's me.
I feel
Okay,
like
baby.
that guy in Death Note writing down the names in the notebook and then the people die. I've never seen the show, by
You
the
know-
way, but that's what's gonna happen to Engineer.
Yeah, we know.
The only thing I have to say about all of that, the first guy that went, you must have spent like a week on that, because there's no way you just came up with that on the spot.
I was
He did watch
Honestly,
High Mile.
I
He
think
did
is
watch
a
High
worse
Mile.
use of time than, I don't know, maybe playing TF2 and trying to figure out how the game works.
Look, all right, look, my team, maybe they're not good, all right? Maybe we're 2-5, okay? But that's besides the point. Also, Jazz, when did you mentor Engineer, buddy? You did not. That is
No,
fucking
because there was
pepperoni and cheese, my boy.
no,
Oh
because
my
there was
God,
that one. There
man.
was one game where I rang instead of
One
merging, they call it
game?
ring it, and then I was like, hey, maybe do this and you'd be better. And
Dude, that's
like I
not,
said,
that
they're still kicking around an IM for a reason,
Man.
right?
You sound like the type of guy who could suck the chrome off a trailer hitch. Oh my God, man. What is that shit? I rang one time and, oh, Jesus, man.
One time is
You
enough
are
when
a
you have the game
bum.
knowledge that I have. Let me tell you that much.
Yeah, okay, keep telling yourself that, buddy.
I do, and I will, and yeah, it's not going to stop. Okay.
I think we know who won the pregame trash talk. I don't even think it's close.
Antlers, get these people out. Get these people out. This has gotten out of hand. Get these people out
Somebody
of here.
call an ambulance!
Hold on.
Slime.
Shoutouts to Loot. He is the yin to my yang, the George Bush to my war crime.
You know, all I have to say, somebody call the hospital, prepare the burn unit, get the ambulance going, because they're gonna need it.
Oh my gosh, dude. That may have been the greatest segment we've had of Firecast.
I'm
Of
just
all time, honestly.
disappointed that Just Jazz didn't take, like, the low-hanging fruit of, like, the Firebird Jr., and they're gonna be flying around on fire because they're just gonna be surfing rockets and then getting air shot. Like, it was right there! And you didn't take it. It's a perfect name for potentially how this game's going to go.
Yeah, we will definitely be off task, you know, as we take that trash talk into consideration, Dirtman. I might be losing my focus here. I might not be actually on task with the casting. No pun intended. But we have a barn burner of a match, you know. Let's move on straight towards the match. So, for those who don't know, this may have actually been the first. This may actually be the first match of IM being covered in RGL this season. So we're glad to be able to do, you know, coverage throughout all divs. We've done main, we've done newcomer and amateur with Trial by Fireside. Also, shout out to that exclamation mark Trial by Fireside for information on that. But we're here in the depths of intermediate. We're finally getting a match, you know, where we can see the playoff picture for IM, because both of these teams have a positive record. Engineers 4 and Engineers 5-2 and OffTask is 4-3. So, based on your familiarity of this match, do you have any like insight towards any of these players? But actually, we should probably run down the rosters while we're talking about that in the meantime, shouldn't we?
I mean, getting TF2 launched would be a good start as well. I was so taken aback by the trash talking that I just completely forgot that in order to cast a TF2 game, you kind of need to have TF2 open.
Yeah, so on that note, I will introduce the lineups to you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little segment. They will be back at halftime, hopefully, for some extra trash talk, because I hope you, Jazz and Cayorne, you guys are watching the match. But on the side of Off Task, we have Loot on Pocket Scout, Grape on Flank Scout, Happy Catfish on Roamer, Omar MXB, or Omar, it's Omar for short, for Pocket Soldier, Brandon on Demo, and Ender the Frog on Medic. Meanwhile, on the other hand, for
On
what's
the
the name
other
again? You know,
team-
it's because their name's a generic class. I can't even remember it, but it's Engineer. So for Engineer, it's Remedy on Pocket Scout, Jelly's on Flying Scout, JR Stank. I love that name, by the way, on Roamer. K on Pocket Soldier, Dreadnought on Demo, and Firebird Jr. on Medic. So that gives you the basic rundown for this match on both rosters. It's too bad we didn't get to see the legendary Roamer, TC Mano. He wasn't able to make it to today, and we would have definitely loved to have him in the trash talk, but unfortunate. Dirtman, I'm excited for this game. I'm already hyped up from the pregame trash talk. I think we can deliver a pretty good performance for the viewers here.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when it comes to my opinion on the teams, I think I have to kind of give a little bit of the edge to It's not overtime. What the hell is their team name? Even I don't remember.
Oh, sorry, engineer.
Engineer versus who are they?
OffTask.
OffTask. That's it.
You were definitely off task, not taking notes for this match.
Yeah,
It's
clearly.
you even have a caster
In
trash
terms
talk
of
at this
what
point.
I know of the players, I think I have to give my edge just to OffTask, just because I know a lot of the core roster has been playing together since Season 4. So you're going to have a lot of that synergy. I mean, the only players that are playing tonight for the side of Engineer that I really know are JR Stank, and my only experience with him is is playing in one of the experimental map cups way back when. I think it was like last summer, sometime. There were some pretty interesting words exchanged between the two of us, but our team ended up coming out on top anyway. So either way, it's going to be a good game. I don't really know too much about how these teams are kind of stacking up within the grand scheme of things in IM right now, which I will actually just pull up now, so I will educate myself.
Educate yourself, you will, because we need to make sure we provide the best coverage of this match.
Absolutely.
These guys have done their best to give the viewers a reason to be excited for this match.
So
we need to give them a reason to stay interested in the match.
It looks like Engineer are currently sitting in 9th right now, with OffTask sitting in 14th. However, in terms of the games won, they have both. Engineer is leading by 1 game here, a few rounds as well. So at least in terms of how the teams stack up against the rest of the competition in IM right now, you would think the edge would go to Engineer. Obviously, we'll have to see how the match itself plays out, because it's TF2. It's a game where anything can happen and anything will happen. But I guess just looking at the...
Oh, wait, actually, mind that.
Right now.
Sorry, I'm going to have to interrupt you there, because we just went live with the match between Engineer and OffTask, so while you're still waiting, I'm going to take over the mid for you guys. It's between OffTask and Engineer. Engineer on red, OffTask on blue. And it's going to be a pretty standard mid for all things considered, but it's going to be an aggressive bomb from the soldiers in JR Sync and K. K is going to go deep into Saw here, and he's going to get the pick onto the medic. And right now, the teams are just exchanging a flurry of frags. It's just going to go even for now until eventually the demo man Jelly goes down, and it's going to be a 2v3 in favor of OffTask, because Loot's cleaning up the frags with Grape. Grape and Loot are going to get the picks, and it's going to be a win on the mid for OffTask. I believe we're still not in game on the stream, so I do apologize for that. But oh, actually we are. Okay, never mind that. Sorry. It seems that my second monitor is a bit delayed, but
Yeah.
Dirtman, were you able to get an eye at that mid?
I wasn't really paying attention too much. I was on the console messing around with commands, but it looks like OffTask did come out on top of the mid here. In terms of Uber advantage here, we're actually sitting at even, so it does look like both meds did die as well. Omar XB getting traded out there with Jelly dying as well for the other team. Still even on players here, although in this situation for OffTask, you're going to want to have your soldiers up, and Happy Catfish is going to go down as well. No bombers here, and with player Dishide, you're kind of just going to have to back out and try and stabilize on mid. Still, Uber not in play right now, but it looks like Engineer does have a very, very slight ad, but it's not going to be a whole lot to try and use. They're going to try and just push in through Kitchen here. They got their bombers in, and they're going to be in a better position to take this high ground on mid than OffTask, especially considering that their sniper soldiers had both died trying to fight that point there. Uber does get forced out for Enter the Frog, and following suit is Firebird Jr. They're just going to take the force, but it looks like in the post-fight, it is going to be OffTask coming out on top. Though a good little bomb in there to try and stabilize is going to take out Enter the Frog, and that's kind of just one of those Hail Mary plays that you kind of just go for, and in this case, they're not going to be at dis out, so they're not just going to get rolled into last, but they are going to have to give up second.
Yeah, it was a bit of an interesting fight to take, because they took the exchange through Kitchen on the side of Engineer, but it was actually an even Uber situation, and while they did have the high ground in the post-Uber fight, it didn't go in favor of them, as the frags on point were in favor of the OffTask combo. So it's going to be an even... Well, actually, it's going to be a 40% Uber ad on the side of Engineer, because they were able to kill Enter the Frog in that exchange at the cost of losing all their players except their medic. So while they are back on last, they will have the opportunity to push out. But I don't think the Ubers are being read pretty well here, because they do have a sniper right now. But actually, no, they do know they have Uber ad. They are in lobby right now with Jelly going back on the scout. They're currently prodding their way through lobby. Kay's taking control of Cheese, and he will get the pick onto Omar. So that's an early pick and the man advantage and the Uber advantage for Engineer. They are pushing out through Bats right now with their scout Queen leading the way and soldiers walking out lower. So it'll be a pretty easy take on second with no lives lost.
Yeah. If anything else, I just like the play to pick up sniper there from Jelly, just as kind of a visual deterrent. It's like, okay, you know there's a sniper here. We can't really push out into yard. Even though Ubers are in play right now, we don't want to lose our Uber to the medic here, or to the sniper rather. So they just opt to back up there. Honestly, I think a pretty good heads-up play there from Jelly, just picking up the sniper to just deny the space in and around that sight line. And then as soon as his team got out, was able to get back onto scout, and that just basically they got second without fighting just because of the presence of the sniper. Something that's so powerful, especially on this map, with just some of the crazy sight lines.
You're right, especially on last. If your team doesn't know how to deal with the sniper and walking out the areas with your soldiers, it could lead. Oh, nasty air shot! And that was actually K who had the air shot, and it was JR Snake who cleaned it up. So JR Snake, K is gonna go for the sack through lower. He doesn't get anything for it, so that's gonna lead it to be an even trade on counter sack. So the situation should reset soon. Maybe we'll see an off class on that.
It looked like K tried to get in through the saw window there, and it did just kind of get spammed out because OffTask was just kind of holding that saw pretty aggressively there. Which in a situation like this, you're expecting the sack. It's not too bad, and it's honestly probably one of the better spots to have your combo, because as long as you have your flank watching lower, they can't really just get in for free there. And speaking of getting in for free, we do have Happy Catfish on the sniper class right now, peeking this lower and just trying to deny some of this yard space. Their combo is rotating towards that lower yard grass area as well to try and just take some of the space that the sniper is making. These players for the side of Engineer are kind of just hiding behind this log cart. Happy Catfish, unfortunately, is going to die, though. Jelly is pretty weak as well, but they're not quite going to get the trade. And that's going to cause Engineer to go into Saw here. They do drop their demo, unfortunately. They take the exchange on the scouts. Just a pretty classic Uber exchange there, but in terms of player advantage, although the demo is dead for the side of Engineer, it is going to be coming out in the favor of OffTask, although Ender the Frog is super low in the corner here, is going to die. And just a good collapse there from K and the rest of his team members to kind of sandwich those OffTask players in the back saw there area.
It was a good exchange early on the side of OffTask, but the problem that a lot of teams at the lower levels make is they tend to overchase with the Uber. So while OffTask had about a 50% Uber ad during the exchange, they overextended into second, and while Omar was able to kill the medic Firebird Jr., they overextended too far to the point where they just got counter collapsed. So that'll lead into Engineer taking mid off of that momentum and the picks, and it's once again resets. This time, Engineer does have mid instead of OffTask.
Yeah, still no off classes on the board right now. We are sitting pretty even in terms of the Ubers, not quite there yet. Sitting at 50% for Ender the Frog and about 40 for Firebird Jr. The flank of Engineer is looking to try and do something in Saw here, pushing Happy Catfish out of the window. He is going to go down pretty low, but not in a position to get cleaned up on since Grape is there supporting him. Pretty good teamwork there, always sticking with your players and not forcing any 1v1s, or not allowing any 1v1s, rather. And the side of Texas just trying to stabilize within the Saw area, probably looking to send a sack or two in here as these Ubers come up to 100%.
Yeah, it looks like K was lagging out a little bit, so Engineer's going to delay their sack for just a little bit, but it looks like he's getting primed and ready towards, I believe that's in Saw right now. Yeah, K's peeking through Saw, and there's nobody actually watching this, so K's going to bomb through, kind of beats the jump into Cheese, but he's going to recommit off that bomb, but to be frank, I'm surprised where Ender the Frog is. He was in lobby, so there wasn't any chance to get that med force off.
Yeah, honestly, at that point, I think K may have been better off just committing all the way through Cheese, but Ender the Frog just... Their team just doing a really good job there, calling that bomb out early, and Ender the Frog doing exactly what he needed to do and just backing up into lobby. And unless K went through Cheese there wasn't a whole lot there, but it looks like on the counter sack, they did end up bleeding 2 soldiers, and that's going to give up the point essentially for free. They're not going to want to take an Uber exchange down so many players here, especially down bombers, which are so important in that post-Uber collapse, and they're going to just back out. The Uber does look like it gets forced out, though, on the side of Firebird Jr. Not really sure what happened there.
Yeah, there wasn't any pressure from any spam in lobby. There isn't a sniper either on Happy Catfish, so it looks like a misclick. And looks like OffTask did see that, because right now they're already pushing the pressure through Bats with Loot and Omar, and they're already in on second.
Oh, the drop!
What?
How does he get that? Ender the Frog having just a little bit too much trust in his team. K just barely able to get that last final so crucial rocket off. And he drops to something that really should have been very easily denied. Kind of just a unfortunate moment there. I mean, it's times like that where you know that he should be denied. You don't really want to force to it. And I guess the drop is just kind of what stings for your team a little bit more. And it's like, come on, guys. You can't let that happen. I'm not dropping to this kind of stuff again. Don't let that happen again, sort of thing.
Yeah, as a consolation prize, at least they were able to get mid on the side of OffTask, but it looks like Engineer are primed, ready to push through lower right now, leading on their scout with Queen Bee Remedy. They're peeking through lower, so this push has already been telegraphed, but they're gonna press the issue through lower. There's no sticks to deny this walkout from the medic, so they'll be able to get onto mid clean. There will be the counter attack on from Omar, and Omar is able to get the force on the Firebird. That's 120 damage, and right now, OffTask are just gonna make it their way out, kiting through Saw. Sadly, Happy Catfish goes down, but they have gotten the Uber out.
No.
But JR Stank hits a nice rocket on the Endor, so they're keeping up the pressure on the side of Engineer, and they're just wiping all these players one by one on OffTask.
You know, OffTask was playing that super well to begin with. They were having their players back. They had essentially sticky traps bunkered down and lower. No real way for the medic to die, but it seems like their team got kind of split off. Then nobody was watching lower, and JR Stank kind of just got in through lower and hit that last rocket needed to, I guess, take out Firebird. Not Firebird, Ender the Frog here. But they didn't cap mid, so OffTask gets forward somehow and will get mid off of the back of a really unlucky play. And Engineer are running an Engineer right now, even though they're... I guess they are holding last year.
Oh no.
They probably could have retaken second there, but it looks like they're just going to opt to bunker down on last instead. And get a sentry gun up as well to try and hold this point.
Yeah, that was over chase, I think, Derp.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I feel like Engineer could have probably held second. They do have the sniper now in the hands of Jelly. Hasn't done a whole lot yet, but also hasn't been given the opportunity. They're just going to be waiting for Uber on the side of OffTask here, and then going for some sort of sack. We do have another off class on the hands of Engineer. They don't actually have the Engineer anymore, just the heavy and the sniper. Not honestly a bad combination here. Jelly just trying to look for that God shot here. And also just deny the space, but it looks like they are going to be using in through the right side through Shutter. Big Bomb does actually get denied really, really well by Remedy. The Uber comes up with Firebird Jr. and saves Remedy, so they're still going to have the heavy on the board for the post-Uber, which is really, really good there, being able to deny that point. And looks like the rest of the players are just getting collapsed on by JR Stank, and especially K as well, who unfortunately did go down, but it's just going to be the demo and medic of OffTask left alive. That's going to be second for free. They're going to have to try and hold the mid and stabilize their four spawners. Ubers are still even though, because Ender the Frog was able to get out, which is really good for OffTask. But it's honestly just kind of a consolation there after messing up that push. But honestly, just a great play from Remedy there to denying that soldier and then getting onto the point. And Firebird popping at the perfect time to save him as well.
Great kite, but honestly, a really questionable Uber exchange. Popping through Shutter with no players to really Uber into on the side of OffTask. So that was a loot scout solo Uber. And, you know, the combo on the side of Engineer were all the way towards left spawn by the van. So it was a very ill-advised Uber. And like you said, the consolation prize at least being a force. That Uber should have really just reset things, but they overcommitted to it. So they have to give up second to Engineer. And it's just going to be a stalemate here between second and mid.
Honestly, I kind of feel like you should know they have the off classes, you should know they have the sniper, you should know they have the heavy, you should know they have Uber. And we're gonna get a force out here for the side of Firebird, which is gonna have to force them back off of second and back onto last year, although OffTask doesn't quite have the players. Happy Catfish is going to die in behind. Omar XP did die early on as well. They're not gonna have the players to aggress, which is going to be fairly good for the side of Engineer, but they don't have Uber right now, so they can't do a whole lot with it either. It's just trying to take a dry fight. If they overcommit to this, it's going to be their demise and probably the end of the round.
Yeah, their flanks pressing the issue towards lower, and JR Stank and K, the soldier combo, will combine for 2 frags each. They'll go bomb in towards the medic, and they do get the force at the cost of JR Stank's life, and potentially K's now on mid. Great force from both soldiers. They might have to give up second, though, because Firebird's only at 65% Uber, and he might be caught up towards Saul. The pressure from Brandon wasn't enough to get the drop onto Firebird, but they do get Jelly as a consolation for all things considered. Omar, Brandon, and Ender are pushing towards Saul, and they should be able to take second for free. But they're on the back end here because Firebird is coming up on his Uber, and if they get the respawn on time, they could push out through bats on a second. And that looks like that's what Engineer are going to do. QB Remedy's really deep on a second here, focusing down great towards grass. He will get the pick, but there's no other picks for that to be considered. Happy Catfish is flanking from bats, gets caught up by JR Stank, who is sitting behind in lobby for the back half, and they'll be able to take second here. The players are sectioned out. Omar XB and Loot were still in on second, while Brandon and Ender were out towards mid. So it seemed to be a miscommunication on recommitting to the fight. And right now, Engineer can ride that momentum into mid.
You know, just ignoring the little bit of leapfrogging on the points there, I feel like what really went wrong for that OffTask Uber on mid, I feel like I want to say that Ender the Frog kind of milked that Uber a little bit too long, because by the time that he finally did end up popping, both of his scouts were dead, and had he even had one left alive, that would have been a relatively easy, maybe not wipe, but maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 picks of players off the side of Engineer, which would have made pushing second a lot easier, but they ended up deciding to just milk. Both of their scouts died, and then the Uber didn't really go anywhere. We have a bomb coming in from K, who is going to live in Saw, be able to grab the pack. Happy Catfish is going back to fight him, but it looks like Happy Catfish is going to lose that fight. Grape is turning around, though. We do have the Uber coming out for the side of Engineer here, is going to get a few more picks here. Ender the Frog does die, so they're going to come out of this post-Uber if they can keep their meta alive, which unfortunately they can't. Loot just going in, being able to get that pick and kind of salvage a little bit. They're not going to lose last on this. They are going to lose second, though, but at the very least, they're not going into last at full disad, or at least 50 or so disad either. Basically pretty even here, stabilizing on last. Happy Catfish in the hands of Sniper, or Sniper in the hands of Happy Catfish, rather. Probably just looking for an angle here and trying to get some picks, or at the very least, deny some of the space.
Yeah, it was a exchange that led to both medics dying on each side, but somehow Engineer is able to ride all the momentum back all the way from their last into second, onto OffTask second rather, and now they're in the driving seat to potentially win the first round of the match. We're 15 minutes in, and there still hasn't been a round one, so this could, with Happy Catfish on Sniper, if he gets another pick, we could see this round prolonged for an extended period of time. Still peeking to top right, does pop off a few shots, but isn't able to find the medic at all. It's just a demo and the soldier on the side of OffTask pressure, or Engineer rather, pressuring him out, and he's gonna switch back off. Might go spy here, maybe. No, chooses to go back soldier. I'm wishing to see a spy off cost at some point, though.
I mean, with the way the rate the game is going right now, some of these teams, they need to try something different. They need to switch it up a little bit with some different off classes, maybe a spy back cap attempt here or there, because we're sitting at just over 15 minutes into this game, and nothing has happened. I mean, players have points, players have gotten kills, however, no points, last points have been capped. We've actually been leapfrogging back and forth to last repeatedly amongst the other points in between as well. And again, with 15 minutes left here, or 15 minutes elapsed here, fortunately, jayy Stank is going to go, so they can't really get in the sack. They're going to have to back out of lobby, which is going to give even more space for the Sniper, who doesn't exist anymore, to play off of. Would have been kind of nice if they still had that Sniper up, but Omar XP is going to go in, get one rocket onto the medic, and Firebird is going to be able to surf away into lower and grab that pack. Very, very close there from Omar XP, a really good attempt, but he got the counter sack off in time, so nonetheless, like I had said, he got the counter sack off, and he tried.
Well, there's a scout flanking from top left. Sadly, doesn't get any damage on Ender the Frog, so that isn't going to be worthwhile for anything. Might be seeing off class on Jelly here, since generally it's JR Stank or K who's the one sacking. I would like to see... there isn't a lot of pressure from OffTask towards their drop down, so theoretically, one of the soldiers on the side of Engineer could be going to Shutter and then doing that double rocket jump off the wall, but it looks like the teams haven't recognized that that is a possibility. Omar's going to bomb it from Cheese, gets a clean rocket onto the medic, but then sadly has to reload a rocket and isn't able to get off a second rocket for the force, or potentially the drop at that. We do have Jelly up on Sniper, so this is going to be a switch up on the side of Engineer. This is their first off class of the match, aside from, you know, the last point off classes.
You know, for a brief period of time there, I did see Omar come up on the spy class, which he is back up onto now. I want to see him commit to this, but unfortunately it doesn't look like he's going to. Maybe just going for information or something. Not really sure what's going on there. Probably checking off classes, actually. So they should know that Jelly is on Sniper right now, and it looks like they do. Just by the way they're playing very safe here, not peeking any of these angles and not giving even a chance to get any shots. Looks like Firebird Jr., or rather the rest of their team, is setting up to get into lobby here, or at the very least setting up for a sack, getting these buffs going as well. And Grape is going to go down to Jelly. It doesn't look like they realized the Sniper was playing this left side, this drop-down side. He does get the one pick. Gets another pick as well here. jayy Stank is going to take out Happy Catfish, and this is setting up to be a really, really good last push for them. The Uber is going to come out in the hands of Firebird Jr. Ender the Frog is soon to follow suit, but he is so isolated from the rest of his players, and his Uber gets used on him and him alone. Grape is coming out at the very tail end of it, but it's not quite going to be enough. Ender the Frog and Grape are going to go down, and that's finally going to be the first round off the board, or on the board, in favor of Engineer, off of the back of Jelly and some really nice, clean headshots.
I feel like I cursed OffTask there, because I was just mentioning how they weren't holding their drop down really well. And just as I say that, Jelly comes up on Sniper, hits a few Sniper headshots, gets the opening pick, and leads it into a 3 three picks that eventually leads to them winning last. So that's going to be Engineer on the board with 18 minutes elapsed into the game. Heading into this next mid, Dirtman, what's going to go on here?
Looks like we're having teams just trying to exchanging this high ground. A little bit of a bomb coming in from K is going to be right onto the demo. Brandon 411 is going to be out of play here, along with Omar XP and Happy Catfish, all for the just K. That's a really good trade. Grape is just barely going to escape through Saw here with his med, trying to regroup and just get Enter the Frog out of danger right now, building and try and get some of that Uber up. A really good mid there from Engineer. Probably just playing off of a little bit of that adrenaline and keeping that momentum coming from that last round. Unfortunately, Luke does get caught out on that bats area, kind of getting juggled by Stickies there. A little bit unfortunate. Not a whole lot you can do. And he is probably going to have time to get up on this last point before it's time for them to push.
From more.
Decided either way, though. Stank is going to go in, does get taken out. Brandon does very narrowly avoid death there. Is just going to get healed back up. And we're just going to be back to one of these kind of last hold stalemates. A little bit of a counter side going in there. Not quite going to get anything. But are you hoping to see any off classes here like we did the last? Maybe another Jelly Sniper, or maybe Enter the Frog? Not Enter the Frog. Omar MXB actually commit to this Y play. I think that would be kind of cool to see.
I do want to see an off class. It looks like they're holding the spawn door all the way for one of the scouts on Engineer to go back Sniper, and that is going to be the case. JR Sank holds the door open, and Jelly's going to go Sniper. So look to see Jelly do some heroics again. I was hoping they wouldn't do that. I was hoping instead of see a double sack between JR Stank and Jelly, because that is lethal at the lower levels, especially when you consider the fact that OffTask does not have a heavy or an Engineer setup on last. They don't do the typical setup with the Engineer sentry on grass. So instead, we're gonna have Jelly peeking in through top left from bridge. Isn't gonna see anything, but look to see the combo on the side of Engineer work through lower, walk up towards drop down, maybe even work a pick up with Jelly like last round.
Yeah, I mean,
Thankfully,
yeah. Realistically, you would like to see some off classes on the side of OffTask right now. Not a huge deal though, considering we're not sitting at any sort of Uber disad. We are sitting at even, and it's just going to be honestly Engineer trying to work Jelly in on the Sniper. Looks like into drop down again to try and get some shots off. It did work the last time. Why not try it again? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it looks like that's exactly what they're going to be doing. Is going to get the pick onto Happy Catfish, who was just getting arrowed up by his medic. Jelly doesn't see the scout and barely avoids death, but Omar XB is going to peek in through the shutter and get that pick. Just trading out that sniper pick, really not a whole lot. That's your sack for each team effectively, although the health on the side of OffTask isn't too good right now, and JR Stank is going to go down as well, which is going to put OffTask in the driver's seat to potentially try and push out a last, and it looks like that is what they're looking to try and do.
Omar, it looks like they were actually pressuring Lobby for the sack for Omar. Omar got spotted really early on, though, from Under the Frog, so Firebird, actually. So he gets denied instantly from QB Remedy, that was. So, looks like they're going to actually go for the cookie cutter classes on the side of Engineer. I'm hoping this turns into a double sack between JR Sank and Jelly, like I mentioned earlier before. And I want to see them switch it up with these double sacks, because right now, they're kind of going in for solo sacks without any team pressure, like either demo spam from top left, or maybe even a soldier fake bombing and whatnot. But right now, there's going to be a fight taken through lower between the flanks of OffTask and Engineer, and it's going to be a trade on the soldiers. JR Sank and Happy Catfish do go down. So that will reset the situation even longer. And there's 8 minutes left in the half. To be honest, we won't... I don't think at the rate of this game and how it's going, we're going to see either team get 3 rounds by the half.
I mean, you never know, right? We're sitting at 8 minutes right now. TF2 is a game where anything can happen, but I think I am leaning more towards that outcome. Potentially even finishing the first half 1-0, which would be a little bit unfortunate, a little bit boring here. But honestly, not too terrible. Could be a lot worse. It could have just been over in 5 minutes.
Right. And I do want to mention, everybody, at halftime, we do have a little special surprise for you guys, so stay tuned during the halftime for that. We do see K keep pressing the issue towards drop down. He gets the pick on a Happy Catfish, and OffTask's, their kryptonite has honestly been this drop down area. It looks like they can't seem to hold it at all. And Omar MXB has to rotate around to support that. But there's going to be exchange to top left, actually, mind you. They lead it on the demo, and the exchange does go out in favor of OffTask as they try to press the issue in the lobby. Frags are being exchanged, not in favor of... Oh my gosh, that was an air shot from Happy Catfish. And OffTask, I can't believe it, but they didn't lose anybody during that exchange at all.
I mean, honestly, what I think it came down to is Engineer was kind of... They were a little bit separated going in. They had one of their players, one of their soldiers going in through lower.
Wait, they didn't push out on the second?
They didn't push out. I guess they did, or Engineer did get spawners up in time here. Do have loot on the heavy right now. Looks like they are just trying to hunker down, which is, they don't have the advantage in points here to just hunker down, but it seems like they're just trying to play this for the second half, or at least for the stalemate here and retry the mid fight. It looks like that's actually what they're doing.
Oh yeah, forgot to remind you guys, if you haven't turned to the stream, while there's 2 picks from Omar MXB, and it looks like this is going to be a Bosch to last push on the side of Engineer. It's right now, RGL has implemented the 5-minute round timer for this season, so it's not your typical 10-minute timer, and it is actually a viable strategy if there's enough time left in the half to waste those 5 minutes and turn into a stalemate to reset on the mid. So,
yeah, I just want to mention there that Firebird Jr. died at 99%, so a very botched last push. Yeah, their mech died at 99%, so they could have potentially taken that, but a little bit of a misplay there. We're going into yet another mid fight. This will be the third mid fight of the game, believe it or not, even with the score only being 1-0. Sitting at just under 25 minutes, and both teams are rolling out right now, just trying to exchange some sticky damage. Dreadnought going down a little bit here, but it's just going to get beaten back up. We do have a bomb coming in from K. Enter the Frog is going to die. A good collapse, though, but he is going to get another one. K is going to get 2 picks. Yet the picks are just falling in favor of OffTask right now. Enter the Frog is dead, but Firebird Jr. and the rest of his team are dead as well. Just going to be Remedy left alive and is going to get 2v1 there. And honestly, just a pretty good mid-fight there from OffTask. Really quick, which is kind of crazy though. For what the rest
I generally don't like talking over. I don't like talking over you, but sometimes like some of these plays during the mids just make me like gasp out loud. Like I'm talking in my mind, but actually like I'm actually talking out loud. And K hit the sickest bomb from top right. Did like a skip jump, I believe, or like just some kind of like high bomb, and lands on K, gets the pick. I mean, lands on to enter the Frog and gets that pick. So he pretty much won the mid in and of itself. It was a one-man mission.
Well, not just that, but K managed to pick up 2 picks there, got Grape with another rocket. However, his team somehow still managed to end up losing that mid-fight.
Yeah, but at least for OffTask, you know, even though they lost the mid and they're back on their last, they do have Uber ad, so they could technically push out onto this. But K's on a one-man mission in the lobby, try to take a 1v1.
Frog is at like 40% Uber ad right now, and they're going off of it. Jelly is on Sniper, the 2 picks that is going to potentially just be barely enough here. Firebird doesn't have anybody to heal. He is on the low ground, but he's not going to get focused right now, so he is just barely going to live. Why is he alive?
Oh, they held that! The respawns came in and it just worked out for them.
That is one of those mids where you were just clenching your butt cheeks the entire time, just hoping and praying that you don't catch a stray rocket or a stray scattergun shot, and they managed to not and be able to hold that last. Not quite sure how they did it, but they managed to pull it off here.
But K's deep
the Frog is going to die as well to K, just getting these huge bombs. Brandon is going to die as well, and that's potentially... They gotta watch for the back cap. Happy the Catfish is on the last point, but he is at no health and he is just going to die. Grape is there as well! The Soldier! Is he going to get it? He gets the back cap!
Bro, this is actually hella chaotic. I can't believe that actually worked out. They're just sending in players one by one. Like dominoes, they fall, but the last domino didn't fall and it got the cap. Grape coming in clutch, ties the game up. It's 1-1 between Engineer and OffTask, and I am so hyped for this halftime, honestly. Dirtman, take it away, honestly. This mid is too exciting.
Words, how does that work? We're going into yet another mid fight here, as we've seen many a times before. Enter the Frog just dodging all of these spam, doing his best Neo from the Matrix impression. A lot of damage. A bomb coming in from Happy Catfish is not going to get picked. Firebird Jr. he is going to die as well. Happy Catfish is still alive for some reason at that 1 health, is going to die. The rest of his team is dead as well, with picks just coming in behind Dreadnought. They didn't deny that bomber, and Happy Catfish was basically just able to get into Saw with the med and basically just take him out for a nice little date there, forgetting about all of the other people. I mean, they both did die, but sometimes dates don't end well.
Yeah, and that's gonna lead Engineer on the back foot on the last. Even though they had the first one of the game, it seems like all the momentum has gone in favor of OffTask. It can be debilitating, honestly, to be backcapped like that, and it seems like it affected that mid there for them. They just lost it, and now the momentum's riding all the way through lower for the side of OffTask. They're leading it in on Loot and Brandon, but they're focusing different things. Loot's gonna go for the medic and will kill Firebird, so they do have the heal advantage coming in the last. The frags in the positioning though aren't in favor of them, because right now Engineer's Dreadnought is just cleaning up everybody towards grass, and that's going to lead to an utter wipe for OffTask because Engineer managed to hold on and prevent themselves from going down.
I mean, both medics are off of the board right now. Firebird is potentially going to come out of this with a little bit of advantage, but he doesn't have anybody to heal, so there's no uber advantage. In fact, it's gonna be like 10% disad, which isn't a whole lot, but you still want to have somebody to heal there as soon as you spawn up. A little bit of a miscommunication potentially there from OffTask, but they are still going to get the second point here. Ubers are still even. Although Happy Catfish is just gonna get bombed out here. He's going, oh, he's gonna crater. Loot is behind in Burger or lower, so is Brandon as well. And these players from Texas, or not from Texas, from Engineer, have almost no structural stability right now. There's just players getting in behind them. There's 3 players fighting them on second right now, when the rest of the fight is going on a mid. Enter the Frog, it looked like 1-1v1 against JR's tank. It's just Loot, who is going to die very shortly here. I mean, big Uber ad coming out from Firebird because he was actually healing people that entire time. But Ender the Frog winning a 1v1 on Medic. It shouldn't happen, but it did. It's TF2.
Dude, this is just pure and utter chaos right here. And honestly, this might just end up being a stalemate. I mean, a tied game heading into halftime. There is the Uber coming out on the second from Firebird. May have just been padding sets because even though they have mid with 30 seconds left, there's no real time to really catch second and go on a last unless, I guess, OffTask just all hits killbind in console. So, I mean, it's just a flurry of frags going on the grass area towards lower, and it's pretty even right now. Dreadnought's getting the majority of the frags for his team. Med's gonna go down on Firebird. It's just Dreadnought and the Loot fighting each other on second. And I mean, what is there to talk
7
about?
seconds,
Really?
they can get this, right?
No way. Oh man, that's gonna be a 1-1 half for Engineer and OffTask. I can't wait to see these logs because that was a bit chaotic, but we do have some special people. Antlers, bring them in. Let's bring these people in for a trash talk segment before we continue on with this game. We have representatives from both teams waiting in the VC right now, waiting to be pulled in just to give their thoughts on the match. Cayorne, Just Jazz, welcome back, boys.
What up?
It was luck, okay? That back cap, my grandmother could do that, okay? If you're lucky enough to find a whole W, not that hard, okay? Not cool.
Yeah, but
You know,
it
TBH
takes
goodness.
some mental awareness to find the hole to begin
Nah.
with. Some of these
Nope.
players on
Broke
the
a lot
Engineer
right
maybe
today.
not so much. Not finding it. I did
I
like
think-
that last fight at the end when they sent 3 for the back cap, and we were just met with a scout and a med, and nobody shot the scout who was shooting all of them, and instead that was pretty fun.
Yeah, that was simple misplay. I mean, even the pros make mistakes sometimes. But let's talk
Sin
about
Karma wouldn't have
talk
made
about
that
the-
mistake.
Well, Sin Karma, beep, boop, 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 beep, boop, 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 whip, beep, 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 beep. That's the sound of him injecting. Anyways, man, I saw some shit. Ender the Frog looked like he was fucking being used for target practice. Holy shit! I've never seen a guy get, so just demolished repeatedly on every bomb that they actually made it through with. And
The
bro,
soldiers on both teams. I know we're here to trash talk, but I don't know how to do that. The soldiers on both teams are actually doing a lot of salvage work.
Call Happy Catfish though. Call.
hey, bro, all right, Happy Catfish, my boy, hit the lab. Aim Labs is free. The dojo, never play sniper again, man. That was terrible, dude. That sucked. These people weren't even moving. They made Jelly look like Chris Kyle. Jelly. I don't know,
I'm
man.
spaghetti. I mean, Cayorne, you just finished watching 9 Mile with Eminem playing
8
Jimmy
Mile.
Rabbit. I thought we were gonna hear some bars coming into halftime.
Here's some what am I, a rapper? No, man. I'm just here to say that these players suck, man. They got lucky. All right, it's that simple. It is that simple.
Jazz. I mean,
Hello.
you were hyping up all these boys before the game, but we thought it was gonna be clean from OffTask. Where this silence in this room is deafening. Honestly, it's only 1-1.
Yeah, well, I thought it was really fun when they pushed in to last with full Uber ad and everybody died twice. That was 3 times they did that. I don't know. It's kind of just a scrappy game from
Look,
both
man,
teams.
they
There's no
they
real flow
they
at the
thought
moment.
they thought to show mercy because the second half is going to be a bloodbath. Okay, it's
I see.
merciful because they're just such nice people, nice benevolent little guys. Okay.
Yeah, they need to get nasty. They need to turn on their
Yeah.
they need to do to engineer what Sam Hyde does to schools on a regular basis.
Man, what the fuck? Okay. Hey,
He's gonna
real
shoot
quick,
them.
completely unrelated. Why are there so many people in chat for K named like Jimmy Dean Sausage 2013, like Balls 20 Balloon Berry? Who are these people, man? There's no way. These are your main accounts. I refuse to believe. But
He that's how he gets his ego boost. He goes and creates
man,
stock puppet accounts in
who
Twitch
the
while he's playing the
fuck are these
game.
people?
Guys, I kind of want to ask you a question. Who would win in a Met battle? Alien versus Predator or Brown versus Board of Education?
Brown versus Board of Education. That's not even a question.
Yep, shout out to my rights. Shout out to my rights, boys.
Shout out to my fucking rights. Okay? Gibbons Ogden, where we at?
RGL, why'd you ban antlers? We support the troops.
Hashtag unban antlers, by the way. Oh well,
Hey guys,
ban him and then unban him.
guys, I just read something. Can we get a moment of silence and rest in peace in chat for Joe Rogan?
Hey, yo, JR Stank is about to stank it up, honestly, on God.
Dude,
Do we have
Joe
love?
Rogan just died and you're talking? What's wrong with you? No, but I'll give Omar this. He somehow managed to top frag his team while also going negative. So that's an accomplishment. You know, great work, Omar. Happy Catfish. I think it's time to get out of the pond. Go back to the little creek. It's not looking good here.
I just want to see both demos start to fucking pop off. They're being like the most passive, just like limp dick demos I've ever seen in my life. Like
Well,
one of
I
them
mean-
just needs to grab their balls and just like go for it.
I'm
No,
not
they're
sure
doing a
Brandon-
self-sucking competition,
I'm not
on God.
sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure Brandon 411 realizes he's not playing Pyro yet. So once
He
gets
doesn't.
that figured
Have
out,
you seen his traps like on last? He puts all of his traps in the right doorway on like one spot instead of
I don't
spacing
know.
it
I'm
somewhat
saying
evenly.
I saw they take an
Nuts.
Uber onto Brandon 411 and it looked like D-Day. It was terrible. He just got fucking gunned down, just like did,
Oh,
like
oh,
20 damage.
so
20
he's-
damage post. It was
So
big.
Brandon's the Nazi in this scenario. Am I
What?
getting that right? Because
No,
D-Day,
man,
what are you talking
no.
about? D-Day was
No,
good for
he's
the Allies,
fucking
right?
storming the. Wait, shit. I think I may have misconstrued
That's
my
right.
team. That I'm. Shit, guys. I think I may have made a slight lapse in judgment.
This is
I'm
why
so
I
error.
this is why I just sit in the background and just like pick and choose
Guys.
instead of just spouting from the hip. Sorry, Brandon, you're a Nazi, I guess. Can I go back
Wait.
to smoking my joint now? Am I allowed to say that on stream, by the way? I guess I just
No,
did.
you're gonna send the police to your house. They're dispatching them now. They'll be at your door in minutes.
All right, antlers, let's bring him out. Thank you guys for coming back in. We hope.
Nice.
Fuck you guys. I'm
Whoa. All right, that's it. Get these guys out of here. Dirtman. This match has a lot of stakes, both emotionally and for the season records of both teams. But you know, I'm enjoying it.
You know,
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been a good match so far, and I want to just take a second to look at the logs here. Super even across the board, honestly. All of the soldiers are grouped together, the two demos are grouped together, all the scouts are grouped together in terms of DPM. Both medics have 9 deaths, but Ender the Frog winning the 1v1 against JR Stank, that's why their team is going to win. Because Ender the Frog's raw fragging ability, that'll carry them to success. Yet somehow still having less DPM than the other med. I don't understand. Both teams have 11 Ubers. Ender the Frog has dropped an Uber, though. Firebird has not. Average time to build is the same. Average time before using is the same. Everything's the same. Like,
Yeah, what can you say though? But we're heading into this next minute, and already K has been denied. But OffTask are gonna go for a double soldier bomb. It's just some Uber collapse towards the grass. They get 4 picks for it. They just walk across point, and it's just utter annihilation. Engineer are just completely out of this mid.
my only question is, Remedy, why are you still alive? Your entire team died on mid, and what do? You run away? I mean, I know
Honestly,
you need to
Beta.
value your life in this game, but that's valuing your life maybe a little bit too much. Don't bait your entire team. Die with them, like a man. But we're coming into this last push. Enter the Frog does have full Uber ad in favor of OffTask. Let's see if they can mess this up again, or if they'll actually be able to take another round off the board without a 15-minute stalemate beforehand. We do have a sentry gun on the side of Engineer that is going to be tanked right now. It is going to go down very, very late. Loot getting a little bit of cap time here. Lots of cap time onto the board. Jayy is going to be rotating towards this point, but picks are very quickly going in favor of OffTask, and it is going to be a very quick round conversion. Honestly, a stark contrast in the rest of the game, with especially how that first half has gone.
Yeah, it was a surprise aggressive mid from the side of OffTask. We hadn't really seen too many double soldier bombs from them, but they just elected to go for a double soldier bomb, lead on the soldiers, and just walk the entire combo across point. Because they denied K on high ground really well, there was no counter bombs on the side of Engineer, so that led to them winning the mid and riding the momentum all the way to last, and that's a 2-1 lead for OffTask. Heading into this next mid, it looks like K and JR are going deep. They're gonna replay the same mid, but this time they're the ones bombing aggressively. They get the pick onto Enter the Frog, but they've lost all their players as the players from OffTask are just collapsing onto point. They wiped the entire combo, and mind you, it's scrappy, but OffTask have won it with Loot and Omar left alive from that mid.
You know, I admit I may not have been paying so much attention here. However, it didn't seem like OffTask was really able to get a bomb of their own on, and somehow Firebird still managed to die. It looks like he died kind of on this left lane just in front of Red Kitchen, is a little bit confusing as to why he was even there to begin with. But either way, we are going to be even on this second push here. And again, it's just going to be both teams trying to stabilize. Of course, Engineer is going to be trying to gain some sort of a lead back, or at the very least tie this game up and take it all the way to Golden Cap, which I really hope doesn't happen, because that's going to be a long cast.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I might hear some noise complaints from my apartment manager if it does go to overtime. No, I'm just kidding. But it's going to reset to be an even situation here. Both teams are even Ubers, and we're going to look to see OffTask running the sacks here with Omar timing towards window. He's already primed in, walking up, but he does get denied by spam, so he won't be able to go for a sack just yet. Might just see Happy Catfish go in instead, but yeah, Omar just gets heavily denied. They're going to try to reset things again. Omar's going to try again through window, peeking it for his team, and yeah, looks like nothing's going to happen just yet, as both teams are just trying to get eyes on what to really do before OffTask goes for the sack.
Yeah,
Omar
right now,
you can do this, hopefully.
Yeah, of course, right now, still nothing's happening, just exchanging spam. We do have a bomb actually coming in here.
Oh!
Not quite going to be able to get anything for Omar MXB. Unfortunately, Firebird is going to stay alive and conserve that Uber. Not quite getting the counter sack off right away, and it looks like K is going to be denied trying to get in through that saw window in order to go for that counter sack. And by the time that they're ready to try and get another player in, it's going to be too late for the counter sack again. So still right back into OffTask being in the driver's seat for the rest of this round here. 3 minutes on the board right now in terms of round timer here. Hope it doesn't stalemate again, but it's looking like we're going nowhere fast off of this little bit of an exchange here.
Omar's in from
Spam and
right
whatnot.
Omar's in, but he beats the jump. Guess his rocket denied by a scout, so unfortunately, it was just a botch jump all around. K's gonna peek in through window. That gets spotted early, so he's gonna like to try to go somewhere else. They're pressuring lower, are the flank, and K's trying to get in through solid door, but it's not gonna work out. Gets instantly denied by Boot and Brandon. So once again, sacks are traded. Maybe we'll see an off class. Last time, you know, the facilitator of these rounds have been Jelly for Engineers round, but OffTask, it was just a back cap in and of itself. They haven't really had. They've really been playing off of Engineers' mistakes, so it feels like rather than them initiating and winning most of these even fights, it's been a mistake from Engineer. But Happy Catfish is going to go, and he's going to try his hand at going for a second. He actually trades with the demo, so this could actually turn into an exchange. JR Stank gets the 1v1 between Loot and Omar in Saw, but he'll die to Omar following up on that. So looks like OffTask are going to press the issue in Saw here, Derp.
Yeah, arguably OffTask has the better trade here, just because they still have their demo on the board, so they're not really going to be getting spammed and locked out with stickies from these points. They're not even going to have to use Uber in order to get this point, which is going to put us into an even Uber situation on last. Of course, unless one of these players is able to do something insane and get a force, or even better, a drop for their team. However, again, still OffTask in the driver's seat right now, trying to send sacks here. Omar XB is going to go in, not quite get anything, but he does get the trade with Dreadnought, so at least it's not all for naught.
He's in.
Happy Catfish is going to go in. A few air shots just going his way, not quite going to connect, and they're going to be sacking two here. Not quite what you want to see, but Dreadnought being the demo is dead for the side of Engineer. Do you have a sniper in the hands of Jelly again? Is potentially going to get a sightline onto Grape here. Not quite going to hit the shot, though. And they know the sniper is here. Why is Grape still peeking him? He should have died there, honestly.
Do you see what I see on the side of OffTask? I see a
spy.
Man.
I see a spy.
Yeah, Omar's up on
spy. I'm on the Omar cam right now.
Me too.
Let's see what he does. He's standing still.
Did you hear that? I think one of the scouts heard there's a spy over here. Did somebody off-class check on Engineer? Because I think they know.
Well, it seems like they know there's a spy, and just from like the spy checking in, yes, they definitely do know. They have the pyro out, so Omar XP is probably not going to be able to get anything. How is he avoiding this afterburn? This has already been spy checked, so Pyro's not going to think he's there. Not in this corner anyway.
Oh no.
He's going for it. No, he's not.
His team is starting to push in the lobby right now. They're starting to pressure.
Oh, Happy Catfish died. That's not good. But that is going to take the attention from the spy away. For the side of Engineer, maybe opt them to push out. Maybe it was a tactical feed so Omar can get the back cap here.
Oh, K-stacked into lobby. He somehow gets
Brandon's
2 clean markets off from Brandon.
The tactical sacks? Come on, guys. Push out a last. Oh, no, he's not going to get it. He's not going to commit for it. He's still going to be invisible, using this Cloak and Dagger quite effectively. Just being able to hide in these corners and barely keep himself from being flashed there. How is he not being bumped and he gets down?
He finally gets bumped. Holy shit, dude. Dude, I felt like I was watching a suspense movie where everything is just building up to the climax, and it just turns out the climax is nothing but just a huge ship 8. Shout out to Moses, by the way.
We have a little bit of words from Omar MXB here. Bro, push out. They had 2 picks. They had the demo, and they didn't push out, which is definitely what they were expecting. I don't know if it was a tactical feed. K is going to feed, though. Maybe not so tactical, so that's going to be a free counter sack here for Happy Catfish. Getting in onto the med, not quite going to make it. 1 rocket, 2 rocket, they are going to get the force. Grape going in as well. A good double sack. Grape not going to be able to live either. And it is going to be the off-task players backing out of lobby here to try and milk out this Uber so they can just get their spawners up and do a full Uber ad. Last push that they won't mess up this time.
Yeah, and in response to that, Queen Bee and Jelly are going to go on their respective off classes. We do have an Engineer and a Sniper on the side of Engineer. Wow. I don't know. I thought I was saying an alliteration there with their team name, but guess not. Looks like Loot and Co are going to get ready to take it in through top left. We might see a bomb in again from Brandon. And that might be the case. Yeah, they're going to bomb in, lead in on Brandon through top left. Brandon's all the way deep on the point. They might not be able to reach one time because this sentry is doing massive damage, but thankfully Brandon gets blasted back. They do get down the sentry eventually, but the Uber has ended, and they're kind of on the low ground, so in terms of positional advantage, they don't have any advantage, and that can just lead to a collapse on the side of Engineer, but they're losing all the players. Looks like the frags are being exchanged. It's a 3v3 on last. They don't have the heal advantage on the side of OffTask, so it's up to Engineer to get this Uber on time, and maybe if they have to use... But no! Firebird's only at 99%. He lost the player he was beaming, and the player behind him, he didn't beam on time. So
died with 98% Uber. Even a split second more, he would have had that, and they would have been able to hold that last.
Oh no.
You know, they did the best they could, honestly, just trying to,
They screwed the config. Oh no.
Well, they did the best they could there, trying to keep their medic alive. They got the medic pick, which is really, really good. Unfortunately, it's just not quite enough. They weren't able to keep the rest of their players alive, unfortunately, and not exactly sure what happened with the config. I don't know how they messed it up, why they're plugging in commands for some reason.
So, guys, hold on for a second here. The match is not over. It's 3-1 with, I believe, 19 minutes left in the second half. I guess the teams did the MP limit too for the match config, but the config is being set up right now on the server, so you guys can't see it, but we just saw the exec being forced through the console, so they do have the right config now for the second half. And right now it's 3-1 in favor of OffTask. There's not a lot of time left. Honestly, when you think about the pace of this game, 20 minutes to get 2 rounds, it's gonna have to be a dominant mid from the side of Engineer and some momentum off their back. So it's not just going to be in terms of the skill in the game. It's going to have to also be a mental fortitude to have that momentum, to ride it all the way to last, get a quick round, and hopefully use that to try to find your way back into the game. Because right now, being down 3-1 and with the pace of this game, and both teams just not having a good idea of how to sack. It's kind of been on individual play to really work things through for a round. So
I mean, for the
engineer
exception of
the
that
choices.
last double sack from OffTask, that was honestly just really quite good.
Yeah. That was the first time that I really saw that was the first time I saw like a coordinated sack from both teams. Mostly it's been like a single sack. And you at this level, I've kind of seen a few times where Omar bombs in and Firebird just gets forced for free. But for the most part, both team scouts have been doing a good job of denying single soldier sacks. You know, the typical sack that you just see on a stalemate situation. It was only that
Yeah.
last time that a double sack was ran for the first time and it worked out.
Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, it did work out, and they were able to play that really well and be able to get the round conversion once they got their players up as well. So, a good job from them. I think the next time they just need to try and keep their medic alive just a little bit better there. And it turned out to just end up being a really scrappy fight that honestly could have gone either way. Engineer was honestly in the driver's seat. They're still having the heal advantage, but unfortunately they weren't able to do it, and the player advantage was able to just kind of collapse. We're going into another mid here. It looks like everything got reset up. 21 minutes left to go. 3-1 in favor of OffTask. Going to yet another mid here. Looks like OffTask is a little bit slow here, but Brandon is going to be getting there, exchanging some stickies. Not a whole lot of damage going off either way. Texas K is going to be going for a bomb right now. Big double bomb. X-Hog is going to go down. Jared Stank is going to die as well. Brandon does die along with him. Happy Catfish is going to be dead, but that's going to be just a quick, good collapse there. Or at the very least, a denial of the collapse from OffTask. No Uber advantage going into the second and then into last push, but a fairly decisive mid-fight win there from OffTask.
Yeah, you see the double bombs from Engineer are working out, but when you just only focus on the med and you let the other players from the enemy team just walk forward and just scatter around and eventually focus the guys walking across point, which is your combo, you are bound to lose that mid, and that seems like it's been the script for the mids for Engineer. You know, kill the medic immediately, but you know, yeah, have we ever taken the other 5 players into consideration? Well, they've already just killed us by the end of the mid, so it's going to lead to them being on their last. We're going to see the off cost on a Jelly, and we also see an Engineer on Queen Bee Remedy. And right now, with 19 minutes and 30 left, they do need to make a play right now to get out of their last. There are sacks being traded no by both soldiers.
Yeah, still the sacks here. Happy Catfish and Jared Stank are going to be needing to come up. Jelly back on the sniper. I'm actually going to get onto the Jelly cam right now. We do have this Engineer in the hands of Remedy as well. Uber advantage is just very slightly in the favor of OffTask, but it's not a whole lot, and at least not anything that looks like they're going to work off, although they probably could have. I think it was about 30% ad. Sack going in here, not quite going to be able to get in, not even going to be able to get the sniper, no follow-up either, so we're just going to be sitting, looking for the counter sack, or it looks like they might be opting to go in their, work their sniper, and K is going to go in though. Unfortunately, does get taken out by loot and doesn't get a whole lot, and there's going to be Uber advantage off of the board. We are sitting even right now. Honestly, had they known about it, OffTask probably could have gone in with that 30% Uber ad. It was about a 13-second ad, which is definitely enough to be able to get in there and get a med pick.
Yeah, I believe on the side of Engineers, because they had 2 off classes, they weren't building as fast as OffTask, but both meds respawned, so it would have been hard unless you had cheats to really know that you had ad, perhaps. But never mind that. We do see an Omar MX be sniper off class. So this is one of the few times in this game that he has switched to sniper. And right now, never mind that. The flank from Engineer are pressuring lower, and they're all really low. K gets caught up towards Africa and will die to Grape and Loot. Jelly will have to back out towards lower. And it was a desperate attempt to really make something work, because when you think about it, with 3 minutes left, Engineer either has the option to let it run out and have 15 minutes reset on mid to basically win the mid after the ramp resets and lead it to last, or they could just somehow get the chop on the medic. Ooh, Jelly wins the sniper fight towards Omar, killing him towards log, so that's a pick. And right now, if they work with their combo into lobby, they could create space for Jelly to get some sniper sightlines onto Ender.
Which it looks like that's exactly what they're doing. Jelly not quite able to get any conversions here on these angles, but K is going to go down as well, and that's another player
They got force! They got force!
pick. Wow.
K got the force! So they're going to try to go into the last with the loot. And, well, it's not going to work out. Never mind that. That was interesting derp.
Yeah, we are going to be seeing... Oh no, an Uber drop to a sticky trap. That's really unfortunate there. You gotta be checking those stickies.
Wait, there's an off! Wait, Grape,
They got the back cap again?
Wait, what? Grape went even lower? What?
Yeah. What is this game?
Did they not back out to last? They lost their med. They should have been out to last. Why then?
What are we even
I don't know.
watching at this point?
I don't know about you, but well, regardless of that, it's 4-1 in favor of OffTask, and I'm pretty sure Jazz is gonna have a lot to say for this post-game interview. So right now it's gonna be another mid reset. Not gonna be a round reset. It's gonna be a round reset with a 4-1 lead for OffTask, and right now they're just forcing the issue into Engineer Saw, but it's not going to work out for them. Engineer back up. They're going to turtle up towards Saw and lower. They're going to go for the picks, and right now it's a 2v1 on mid between K and Queen Bee Remedy. Grape 72 HP and Queen Bee Remedy's only 10 HP, but with a soldier on your back, you're going to be able to win that 2v1 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, it was definitely good of them to play that together and take the 2v1 as opposed to trying to take two 1v1s, which, no matter how much health the scout has, is a fight that they can win, which is something that's kind of insane about the class. K just taking up some early high ground on the second point, is going to jump away as he does get jumped by Happy Catfish. And soon to follow is Omar MXB. Just coming out for the rest of this team, Enter the Frog, building with loot and kind of playing towards this Saw area. We are relatively even on the Ubers with about a 10% advantage in favor of Firebird, which in this division here, not a whole lot you can work off. JR Snake going in for a little bit of the bomb, but Enter the Frog is so far back into the lobby, he's not going to get anything and really just going to bomb directly onto a scout, which is not something you're going to walk away from. No counter sack just yet, but it looks like Grape and Omar MXB are kind of just poking around in this lower kitchen area. Happy Catfish going in as well, and Omar going into Saw here is just kind of going to get juggled and jumped around by K. K taking some spam though, and Happy Catfish dying as well to Jelly in lower. Really not something you want to be doing feeding two players. K is super low, though, but they're giving up so much space in this lower grass area. They're going to have to take an exchange on the second point, down both of their bombers, and instead they're just going to back out to last here. A little bit of a misplay, honestly, from there, from Happy Catfish. Omar XP, the counter sack, you expect him to die. Happy Catfish did need to die there as well, and Loot looks like getting caught out in the lobby as well. Definitely a little bit unfortunate. They did get the pick of K right now, so not a whole lot they can do with the sack, but it looks like they're just taking exchange on to last year. The sacks have been panning out. They are going to end up on the high ground. The Uber from OffTask being slightly better. Firebird Jr. is going to die. Remedy is going to still be alive along with Dreadnought. We have JR Stank coming in from behind, getting the pick onto Enter the Frog super low. Little bit of a salvage play there, which is effectively all you can hope for. Definitely just a nice bomb from JR Stank there, not losing the fight. Oh, but K is hiding, going through the back cap. They have Happy Catfish is jumping away. No!
No! Oh! Happy Catfish jumped away at the last second. I was gonna say earlier on that I wasn't really gonna agree with that exchange, and it didn't work out for them. Like you see, they have to give up second as a punishment. So
if they got that back cap off,
I know that could have been the tide turner for them, but instead they're gonna be back on there.
Yeah, honestly, that could have been the momentum getter that they needed. Happy Catfish just barely escaping with his life there from Saw. Jelly is going to die, though, instead. We are still pretty even on the Ubers, although Omar MXB is quite low as well. Just kind of exchanging to spam within the Saw area. Looks like Loot is going to die, though. Happy Catfish. This could be Bobby K, who is going to pick it. That's going to be 2 picks in favor of Engineer. It's not all that good. 4 picks now in favor. Jelly just coming up on the spawners. And Enter the Frog is just going to have to get out of dodge and run as fast as he can back to last and try not to get forced out. Is regrouping with Loot on the heavy. At least he makes it out alive without having to use his Uber.
JR Stank's in from Shutter right now. He's only 70 HP, but he could technically go in for a bomb. Wouldn't do that in front of a heavy, though. So he's going to back out, try to get healed up. Wait, they actually got the force. But it was actually an exchange, never mind that. For some reason, they went for an Uber exchange on the side of Engineer, 2 top left. Frags are going to be exchanged. Only Queen Bee Remedy actually does go down, so no exchange there. But wait! JR Stank goes in deep towards drop down. He gets 2 picks on a Grape and Happy Catfish. The Heavy's going through top left. They're going to press the issue on the side of Engineer through top left. They just need to focus down this Heavy, but the Demo Man, Brandon, does come to back him up. Oh, they could have pushed into this. But it looks like they tried to push the nearest doorway, and they got punished by a Demo and a Heavy. Firebird goes down to a flank from Shutter from Omar. Oh, it looked so good, but it ended so badly.
And speaking of things ending badly, Firebird Jr. is going to go down. It looks like this is going to be a whole ass 6-man sack onto last. isn't going to pan out, unfortunately, and that's going to be now OffTask
They don't see him.
with
They
full
don't see him.
Uberad.
They don't see Jelly, but there's nobody there to deny the second cap. It's not gonna work. Oh,
He's not
okay.
going to get it in time. I didn't see him either because I was on his cam.
Yeah, Dirt, man, this is not looking good for Engineer right now. It's 12 minutes off.
Yeah, definitely not. They're at full Uber disad. They're not even really going to be able to contest mid a whole lot. They're just playing for this force, honestly, at this point. K going in for a bomb is going to get a huge rocket, but End of the Frog is going to surf it away into lower, just barely escaping with his life there. That's going to be mid relatively for free. Now it's going to be the same thing of pushing second as well.
They're
They're
forwards.
just going to try and delay in order to get their sniper, in order to get their Uber up. Sniper playing in forwards here. They have spotted him. Doesn't quite get the shot. Is going to die. Now it's going to be holding last. Unless they opt to take an Uber exchange down players on second. And it looks like that's what they're going to do. Happy Catfish body blocking here. How is he not dead? He's just getting flaw.
Oh, but JR State comes in for bats. He gets 2 picks. He's being the momentum rider for his team. He's cleaning up everybody on second on the side of OffTask. And JR State gets a 3K. Gives his team that push. Maybe they can get back into this game. Get 3 rounds with 11 minutes left. This is the potential chance for them. This is where it starts though. Get that Uber ad. You're at 30% ad. Just ride it all the way into second. Don't get caught up by a sniper playing in forwards, which we see right now from OffTask. And hopefully ride that Uber ad into last.
Yeah, unfortunately, not able to quite convert that exchange. I'm not exactly sure why Firebird Jr. was taking that exchange, but it ended up working out for them. They got the second and the midpoint out of it, and they do have pretty substantial Uber ad here. Happy Catfish, though, on the sniper, probably looking for some sort of sightlines here. He is playing out of the forward spawn. A good place to play here. You got that door to play around, and you can back spawn, which it looks like that's exactly what he's going to do. Getting the sentry gun up early on last here. It looks like they were just trying to play for that god shot from the sniper. Unfortunately, not quite able to get anything.
They did get the
We're
force
gonna
actually.
back onto last.
They
Did
got
he
the
get the
force.
force?
Yeah. Yeah, Omar
I
bomb
was so
did a
much not
blindside
paying
bomb
attention.
on Bridge. No worries. I was focused on the sniper too, but there was a blindside bomb from Bridge above pipe from Omar as they were walking in from Saw. So he does get the force, and right now OffTask are able to push up through bats through lobby, leading on loot with full Uber ad. Looks like the demo didn't get included in the Uber, so it's just gonna be a single loot on second right now. But they do have 3 picks on players trying to back cap from the side of Engineer, and it's not looking good. It's just Dreadnought on 65 HP on mid,
Yeah.
taking the fight against Omar. He thankfully wins it, but where's the rest of his team? They're in the respawns right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, not quite able to get anything there for the side of Engineer, and they're going to be back on mid here. Once again, with OffTask being in the driver's seat, being down 3 rounds, 4-1, you really don't want to allow that team to be in the driver's seat, because then you're basically playing in recovery mode, and that's never a place where you want to be. Fairly substantial Uber ad in the favor of OffTask here, but the sniper in the forward spawn, again, isn't quite going to be able to get anything. Jelly has proven to be pretty impactful on that sniper, but unfortunately not in these key moments here, at least within these last couple of second pushes. Another basically, not quite full Uber ad push, but it is going to be enough to get a chance to push into last here without the team having Uber, but they need to go fast. Saying 80% is Firebird Jr., and it looks like they are going to be going at it through lower. This medic for Firebird, he needs to die, but he escapes back into spawn just barely, but they don't have any of the players. They're all in spawn, and that's going to be the point for free. That is the game. OffTask wins 5-1. Very, very good game, though, and especially that first half being extremely close.
Yeah, it was a close first half, but when you think about it, in the end, just the superior teamwork from the flank on the side of OffTask, and just overall the team fights, and the mid fights, I feel like actually not even just the double sacks from OffTask were the main facilitator in OffTask's 5-1 win. It was the mid fights, just being, even though you're selling out and letting Ender the Frog on an island to try and die, you basically ignore those double soldier bombs and just clash on the rest of the team, and that's what OffTask did. It was a perfect working blueprint to win them the game. But never mind that, people. It was a good game, but we do have some people ready for an interview. We have a bunch of people, never mind that. We have cayorne on the side of Engineer. We have Jazz and Omar, the representatives of OffTask. Antlers, can we bring them in? Let's have a post-game talk here. We don't need the logs yet. We need these people to talk. Guys, welcome back. And welcome, Omar. First time you're joining us, but How does it feel to be a champion?
I don't know. It feels like an everyday thing. Not really much of a feeling. More of a, I do this every day, especially against
Turn on
an
the
easy
Danny
team.
offense. Whoa. Can you say that again for me? Say that again.
Especially against an easy team.
Oh,
Ooh. I'm sorry to the K and the JR Stank supporters. If you just heard that, your team is just called easy. Cayorne, you're not going to take that, are you?
he's AFK. He
Oh,
dropped out at some point. I'm
you
just
go
gonna
see
say,
that.
he came in talking a lot of trash like he was supposed to do, and it kind of it was like, you know what, he's got this kind of fake bravado thing going on, and then you got the cool, calm head of me as like the contrast, and I think we saw that play out on the pitch, or rather on the in Snakewater today. This engineer, what the hell is this, right? Thinking they're hot shit, then they come up against OffTask, and Omar, by the way, had a fantastic game, one of the best.
Omar, by
And
the way.
it was yeah, the cooler heads prevailed, and it was really good to see.
Sure, man, you got anything to say for these guys?
I mean, honestly, it was just off task, and I think a lot of their probably
Sounds like they were
coordination.
on task, right?
Honestly, yeah, they were on task for winning. A little bit off brand there, unfortunately, a missed opportunity. Should have named the team on task clearly, but I think what it came down to was some of the synergy that these players have been building together over like the last 3 or 4 seasons.
Yeah. For team name OffTask, shout out to TC Mano, his band. That's
Where
our
is
name.
TC Mano? Where is TC
He
Mano, bro?
sadly deceased. Poor man, couldn't make it. He has to go to work, feed the family. Pretty big shoes to fill from Happy Catfish, but he did amazing.
Oh yeah,
It's not about the kills. It's about the like space made. Kilometers made. Impact.
yeah. For
Really
all you
good game.
Europeans,
Yeah,
all you
really good.
Europeans, we use miles over here, by the way. Just letting you know.
Oh, my bad. My bad. Really good game from the engineers, Texans, I guess you want to call them. I'm from Texas. That's kind of disrespectful that they lost at my state. But at the end of the day, the better team wins.
I thought it was
Sad.
winter. I thought it was winter right now with the way they were playing. It looked like they were playing with their PCs off. Not gonna lie. Looks like the cold got to them.
Yeah, it looks like I don't know. They like forgot to turn on their monitors or something.
They had him on for the first half, and then you guys were just like, all right, we're just gonna turn the brightness up a little bit. What really was for you guys when you were at halftime, tied 1-1? Like, were there any change? Like, what were the changes that you guys talked about and then implemented?
Yeah, I think our biggest change was like, what if we just like walk into them? Because we win that every time, and I guess it worked. I don't know. We walked into them, we won.
I agree with that because Durman and I were talking about how on these mids you would leave Ender to dry because they would double bomb your guys. They would double bomb Ender, but you guys would just walk over them and just collapse.
Yeah.
It just worked out every mid.
We sacrificial lambed Ender. Poor Ender didn't get to see much of the game, but she did see the W at the end of the day.
And at the end of the day, that's all that matters, the W, right?
Yeah, and we'll finish this interview here. Jazz, Omar, you guys have shout outs. Jazz, you go first, obviously, because you're the one that's...
Yeah, shout outs first off to everybody who was casting tonight and just Fireside Cast in general. I love that we're shining a light on lower division TF2. Otherwise, shout outs to everybody from Bromham at last season, the 2 teams that we watched tonight. Shout outs to my boys in the intellectual powerhouses all the way out in Australia, and shout outs to my girlfriend and my dad.
Was I supposed to be here?
Yeah.
Oops.
Welcome
Sorry, I
back.
had to jump my mom's car.
All good, all good. And it turned out to be a 5-1 loss for your boys. Oh, but we're doing
Wait,
shout outs
really?
right now. Yeah. Unfortunately,
I'm
K and
killing
JR
myself.
saying...
I need. I need.
All right, well,
Hey, before you kill yourself though, do you have any shout outs?
Yeah. I shout out my mom for leaving the keys in her car, on the ignition, and shout out to the Discord.
Omar, how about you?
I want to say shout outs to my team, especially like the better players of the team, like Ender the Frog, Brandon, Loot, Happy Catfish. Shout out to TC
Shout outs to
Mano.
Loot as well. Sorry.
Shout out to TC Mano. Couldn't make it, Probably has like band stuff to do with the band OffTask. Check them out on YouTube. Their hit song How. Shout out to myself. And oh yeah, shout out to Grape's mom. That's it, really.
And thank you guys for the game too. Antlers, let's take it away because we got logs to talk about. Just to finish up this cast. Taylor, Jazz, Omar, thank you guys for being here today, and we appreciate you guys taking the time to come in, play the game, and also
Have a good night.
have the time for this segment pre-game. Thank you guys. Dirtman, let's talk about the logs though.
Okay, the logs. I guess we may as well look at the full game logs. With the other ones for the second half, I think the little bit of
We do have
mess
to
up with the
combine the
config
log.
kind of
Yeah.
broke them a little bit. At least with the full game logs, definitely Omar XB at least being the shining player for his team. But again, just looking at them, the soldiers, JR, Stank, and K were doing so much work. They were giving it their all. But unfortunately, the rest of their team, I kind of hate to say it like this, but they just couldn't keep up. And
Yeah.
in a game like TF2, you have to have your entire team pulling their own weight. And if you look at least the damage spread for the teams, now, none of the off-task players may have been in the top, but there are 4 of them all together sitting in places 1 through 6. So at least they were all playing relatively consistency across the entire roster, which unfortunately wasn't so much the case for Engineer. But I think the soldiers for Engineer kind of being,
Shining
I
light.
guess, the shining lights for their team, trying to keep them in it, but unfortunately it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, Jelly obviously may have been the low light, but he did have that sniper, that heroic first round win for Engineer, where he went sniper and went drop down, killed a bunch of players, and opened up that last push for his team. I just want to do a quick point out towards the log, like anything, some stuff that I saw that was significant. Omar MXB, the roamer for OffTask, 8 medic picks, so leading all teams in terms of medic picks, with K falling behind in second with 7 medic picks on the side of Engineer. In terms of DPM, the soldiers from OffTask or Engineer, like you said, did outclass them in the DPM department and damage department. But
And kills.
in the end, yeah, in kills. But in the end, it's a team game. If you guys aren't pulling the equal weight in terms of effort, your equal weight in terms of effort, it's not going to work out for you. And in terms of the overall strategy and team play and the DM, it did work out in favor of OffTask. And never mind that, I was wrong. Omar was the pocket. I'm sorry, it's Omar. It's Omar, by the way. Just letting you know. Oh, and Omar, you're a minion. You're a fucking minion, according to TC Mana.
Yeah, I mean, all in all, just a great game. They put on a great show. Again, shout out to both of the teams being able to show up tonight. And honestly, especially for that first half, if nothing else, that was probably some of the best TF2 I've had the joy of casting within the last couple of months here. A lot of the other TF2 that I've casted have kind of just been rolls, which is, it's fun to watch. But those back and forth leapfrog games, there's always something happening, even though it's stalemating. It's just peak gameplay, essentially.
Yeah, and I do want to give a shout out to the players on Engineer and OffTask for coming in and being able to give us an exciting match at TF2. It was a very close first half, but even though it's 5-1, I don't think it was. I don't think the game score dictates how much of a barn burner this match was. And Dirtman, I do want to close it out here because it's getting late for everybody. We got to finish things up and we got to sleep. I was yawning a bit during the match. So, Dirtman, do you have any shout? Dirtman, do you have any shout outs?
Specifically, obviously, to Antlers for being able to come and pull this together. I think you would organize some of this as well. Shout out to you as well. Thank you for bringing me on as well. Shout out to Fireside Casts for having me. I guess the only other thing I have to say, shout out to my Sixes team in amateur. Hopefully we'll do great things throughout the rest of the season. It's been one hell of a season so far, and we've been shot in the leg multiple times, and then bandage, and then shot in the leg again. But it's fine. We're still here, and we're still trucking on.
I want to give a quick shout out to the few higher level players in the chat. Hunter, Umbra, Crops, all from different times of TF2 at the levels of ESEA, IM plus, or like RGL Advanced Plus and above. So thank you guys for coming in and just coming in to just reminisce about the times of TF2 and just enjoy this match featuring some older name players like JR Sync and a few other players. I think maybe K. I remember being like a older player from the past, at least like in terms of RGL. But I want to give a shout out to those guys, Engineer and OffTask. I want to give a shout out to Jazz and cayorne for on a short notice coming in to do this pregame segment that we kind of half baked and just threw in to give a little hype towards the match. Shout out to Antlers too. Dirtman, I'm glad that you were able to reserve some time to cast some good TF2 tonight. I definitely enjoyed it. That concludes it for our coverage of RGL Season 9 Intermediate Sixes tonight between Engineer and OffTask, with OffTask winning 5-1, led by Omar's 8 med picks and his and it was a good match all around. So we'll hope to see you next week for the next edition of Trial by Fireside. If you guys are interested in that, we do that every night at Wednesdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm Jay, Dirtman on the mic with me today. Antlers on production. We're closing things out, so have a good night, everybody.
Absolutely.